So you've got this confidence that's come back into the economic engine of Nigeria. This is a good time not to waste a boom. This is a good time to restructure that economy further, as they have indicated in their ERGP, and go and touch at the key critical points, that oil and gas sector that is a perennial problem. You know, they say we're not subsidizing PMS, but we are subsidizing, or you can see scarcity on the road. Power sector, we tried to privatize, it didn't quite do a good job. Issues around tariff and, you know, cost-reflective tariff, you know. So there are quite a lot of areas that the information is there, the talent is there at the disposal of the president. And if you actually were to unleash these people to do the right thing, then you get this economy away from the depressing state that President Obasanjo has alluded in his letter.
Take this entire letter to the marketplace for us. Vis-a-vis the 60-page report that your organization launched yesterday, which a bit of insight into what the markets and economy playbook will look like in the new year.
In our report, which we've titled The Virtuous Cycle, we are sort of highlighting that a confluence of events have put Nigeria in a situation where we've moved away from the depressing state of 2016 when we were in a recession to a situation today where we're seeing growth in GDP. We're forecasting 2.1% for 2018. We're seeing external reserves of $40 billion and forecasted to continue accreting month on month because the oil price environment is going to be benevolent. We're looking at sort of a range of between $65 to $70 throughout the rest of the year. Meanwhile, we have a budget benchmark at 45. We're seeing inflation coming down. Yeah, we were around 18% at the beginning of the year. We ended around 15%. At the beginning of 2017, we ended out around 15% last December. And we can see it trending towards 11, 12% by the end of this year. We've seen foreign portfolio investment come in to support, and they're taking advantage of opportunities, both in the fixed income and the equities market. Both were very active last year. The equities market has buoyed up significantly to their 42% growth in 2017, and this year already is 17% year to date. So all of those are positive, and these events, some of them we did ourselves, some we didn't. We're just accidental. But it's right, and it makes you wonder. Investors now want to come into the market. I'm having clients who have not traded their equity portfolio since 2008 coming to move their account from dormant position to active. And you're asking, are they going to now come in and overheat this market?
So that brings us to a very, very important part of the entire discussion, the investment strategy, therefore. We've seen a few reports from other organizations and say, look, there's going to be a bit of political risk expansion perhaps in the first quarter of the year. We want to know whether you agree with that. Okay. But again, 24 hours ago, the IMF released the World Economic Outlook in Davos and says, look, Nigeria would have modest growth even above South Africa for this year. South Africa will be around 1%, Nigeria will be about 2.1%. Some say it's 2.6% for this year. The president's budget 2018 proposal was 3.2%, whatever, which that is too ambitious. Put it all together and see, where does that give me a space so that we don't overheat the financial markets, that we've had some gains in 2018 and lose everything the way we lost almost everything in 2014-2015 period.
And that is the point. You know, you've got to be cautious when you see a recovery. And so while we advocate that people should come back to the market and participate, I think this year, at least for the first half, you need to be an active but cautious trader. Active in the point that you can't just leave your money and go to sleep. If you can't do it yourself, you must get a good broker.
Well, 2018 is not a year to go to sleep.
No, you've got to be alert.
It's not
and we will see a lot of volatility. You see the market run up, and it will see profit taking. It will run up again to profit taking. Earnings will be released around March. You see some positive numbers. We'd expect the banking sector to do very well. And you see some people come in there to take advantage of those earnings numbers. Then there'll be profit taking. And we expect a positive trajectory, but very volatile. Now, beyond June, we'd expect that when the INEC window is open for electioneering to start, you know, some investors might say, you know what, I've already made my returns for 2018.
I don't want to get in the middle of the politicians.
I'll take off my profits and run.
I don't want to get trampled.
So you can see a potential decline, you know, sell-off around that time. And then while we then see how the election pans out.
At the time's running fast, about a minute or two with you. Do you think President Obasanjo's latest, the way out, special press statement, that's what it's called, it's not a letter to the current president, I say it's a special press statement. So I think he has a message in there for everybody. I've read it as well. Do you think we should take this as an investment research report about Nigeria?
Well, it ends up with a depressing economy.
Can I take the President Obasanjo's statement to the market today and say, this is what the former president says, two-time president, I think this is a research report?
No, I think in the short term, the economy cannot be characterized as depressing. I think the economic and the markets are actually quite exciting where we are today, and there's opportunity for investors to come in. Now, over the long term, and that is where he's talking about, how do we get this economy to, meet the aspirations of the teeming youth we have? We've got 11 million kids are not in primary school. We've got an unemployment index that suggests about 18 or 20 million people are unemployed. We've got all the issues of insecurity in the country, Fulani headsmen, Boko Haram, IPOB, cattle rustlers. We've got the agitation for restructuring of the economy. It's clear that we can't run it the way we currently are doing, So clearly where the former president is going to is that we need to pull this economy and not be applauding ourselves because we've achieved 2.1% GDP growth. We need to go back to that 10%. We need to match China. We need to beat India. And so we can now actually pull out these masses of Nigerians and give them a happy life and not have them running off to India and, Libya and dying in the Sahara Desert.
I like that. Thank you very much for coming on the program. It's good to have your first word on the state of the economy and the market. And I'm going to take time to read your 60-page report. That's much more than President Obasanjo's letter. Let's take a break. We'll come back to the program.